Welcome to the latest episode of the Pulse of East Providence with Mayor Bob DaSilva. As an administration, we try to utilize all means of communication and all media to reach out to our community, to let them know about the great things happening in our city. And we have a lot of ways to get that word out. We have our social media platforms. We have eastprovinceri.gov, our website. And you can also sign up for a newsletter. We also use this show to highlight some of our departments, some of our department heads, some of the people in the community who are making a difference. If you want to be part of this show, by all means, and you're making a difference in our community, reach out to Mayor's office at eastprovinceri.gov, and we'd be more than happy to sit down with you and have a conversation. It's a half-hour conversation, and today, I'm honored to have with me the director of the East Providence Public Library, which is an incredible facility, Meredith Bonds-Harmon, who is here with me today. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited to be here.
There's a lot of great things happening with the East Providence Public Library, and you're the leader, making sure those events happen. But what I like to do in my little interview here is I love people to know about the people I'm speaking to. Like, as far back as you want to go, what was your childhood like? Where did you grow up? What school did you go to? How did you end up wanting to get into library services? So why don't we just start with introducing you as far back as you can?
All right. So, as you said, my name is Meredith, and I'm the director of the East Providence Public Libraries. There are 3 branches of the East Providence Libraries, and let's see, going back to where this all began, I grew up in New Hampshire, in Concord, New Hampshire. My parents, especially my father, was a library regular, an avid reader, and we didn't have the resources just to buy whatever book we all wanted at whatever time. It was more about needing to borrow books and borrow resources that were available to us in our community. And we also enjoyed library visits. So I grew up as a child visiting the library and watching my parents read at home and read library books. From there, and I guess I would also add this one summer where there was a puppet show at the local park that my mom took me and my sisters to, that I thought was just the coolest thing, that we could sit outside on this kind of grassy field and watch this puppet show set up that somehow I knew was related to the library. So the fact that the library existed beyond the books that a person might borrow, that it could kind of go out into the parks and touch a 7-year-old who thought it was just the coolest thing to see, really stayed with me. So I got, finished high school, got my bachelor's degree from Wheaton College in Norton, Mass, and was kind of trying to figure out what am I going to do with my life. Tried a few career paths and nothing seemed like a good fit, and I decided maybe it's time to go back to the library. Maybe I could have a career there. It's a place that I always felt was welcoming and comfortable, and something that I could inhabit in a confident and interesting way that might continue to feed me, and I could continue to grow. And it was the perfect fit. I don't always go into detail about it because it feels a little extra, but my career is not just the necessity of work, right? We all need a paycheck and we need benefits, but we also might each, and this is true for me, have a calling, like a passion, a real desire to serve. And it's that desire to be a public servant through the library that is what gets me up in the morning and really keeps me energized throughout the day. So all of us in our work lives and careers, there can be repetition, or things can be mundane at times, or there could be like obstacles or barriers. But if you continuously kind of call back to like, what was that original passion that that drove me in particular to the field, it just like immediately revitalizes me to want to continue to do the work that I'm doing. So the public library for me is such a valuable institution because I think that lifelong learning is what keeps everybody kind of satisfied in their lives and able to grow and evolve. And an institution that it provides free and open access to materials and resources that one can use for learning, whether you're learning about something wacky and fun or serious and life-changing, it's there for you and you can be curious. And there aren't a lot of places for adults to be curious anymore. So I think that that's why I do the work I do.
You hit on a few interesting points. One, if it doesn't feel like work, and you love what you're doing, is it really work? So, I mean, it's a wonderful to hear that from you, because I think you're doing an incredible job as a library director. You've brought so many programs to the forefront, and your traditional library is not just a place where there's a repository for books. It's much, much more, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But the fact that you said, you know, you get up in the morning, you're not thinking about it being work, it's a calling. There's something real to that, because when you love what you do it the best you can do. And you do it better than most, because that's what happens, because you love what you're doing and you're doing it for the love of bringing these incredible programs to the community. So thank you for that. But let me, you skipped over something. How did somebody from New Hampshire end up here in East Providence? When did you end up getting hired here? How did that happen?
This was the East Providence Library. It was my first full-time job as a librarian. So I've been.
When was that?
It was about 20 years ago. I think I just had my 19th or 20th anniversary.
I thought you just came out of college a couple of years ago.
Right, I know, that too. Time travels. I went from New Hampshire, growing up in New Hampshire, to college in Massachusetts. My college roommate and I decided to get an apartment together in Providence. Yeah. And then I just, without making the decision, I'm going to build my life here, I just built my life here, right? So fell in love, got married, had children, and this is where I live, and I'm still 2 hours from my parents. So.
And this is to the benefit of our community and to the benefit of the residents who visit the library. So let's talk about, you were talking about how that puppet show really inspired you. And that's what I've learned. Like in my role, as mayor, I get to go to all of the great events that you have. And the library has transitioned. Can you just share with the public what the East Providence Public Library is all about today? Like, talk about some of the great things you have going on.
Sure. So I would say that the most important thing to know about the libraries in East Providence is that we are a welcoming and friendly place. Not everyone knows what libraries are about. Not everybody utilizes the library. And our message really for both users and non-users of the library is that we are for you. You belong here. The library is for everyone. And we kind of embody that by being a friendly group of people. And that might sound really simple and basic, but it's not anymore. We don't all have the opportunity to interact and face-to-face and kind of exist in a community space that isn't always something that's easily accessible. So we really try to be sure that everybody who walks in the door feels that they belong, and also that we are actively trying to engage non-users of the library. For people who don't realize that it's not just books, that there's just a whole host of other things that we have. So the library is for everyone, and come visit us. You'll have a nice visit.
But you have educational programs for the youth, right? You partnered with, on that Learn 365 grant that Governor McKee put up. We've been doing some out-of-school learning. Can you talk about that?
Sure. So one important part of our mission is to support children and also their education outside of school time. So we have a lot of after-school school vacation and evening programs for youth and for families. We recently received funding from RIDE and Learn 365, and we've been doing various things with that, but most recently providing STEAM-themed programming through our Fuller Creative Learning Center. One cool thing about the East Providence libraries is we have 2 traditional libraries, but we actually have a third building that is a fully programming space. So we do not circulate or allow any lending through that building. We have all programming in there. So we have the ability to have programs that maybe run along, a little bit longer because room availability is more available. And we could do things that are a little bit messier, maybe paint gets on the floor, no big deal. Or we have a kitchen, we can cook, the whole place smells like Portuguese food or something. That's fine. That's just a programming space for people to experiment, learn, be curious, attain a new skill, maybe take that skill and use it or exhibit it at home, maybe teach a neighbor, maybe talk about it, maybe run the next program through Fuller.
But you also open it up, like what's great about it is you open it up so that members of the community can come in and host these trainings, right?
Right.
So, like if you have somebody who's good at cooking, knitting, whatever, they can reach out and say, hey, I've been wanting to share this particular skill with other members of the community. This becomes a venue for that. We've got a couple of great birdhouse builders out there in East Providence.
I saw a
did you
video
catch that?
recently. I saw a video recently about that.
There's people out there who have these hobbies that want to share with other people in the community. So if you're listening and you have a particular set of skills that you'd love to share with other members of the community, you just reach out to, what's the best way to get in touch with the library? What's the email that they should reach out to?
weaverlibrary@gmail.com.
weaverlibrary@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And then you can ask to see if you can use the space, and we help promote it, right? We put together graphics and help promote it, so that's wonderful. Now, the other thing you do, so, there's so much you do, but that the library does, but one of the things that you do is during the summer, you have engaging events that involve community gatherings out on the Weaver lawn.
Yeah.
Like some of the music events. Talk about what you have planned coming up for this year.
Oh, sure. So every year we have a summer concert series. Those are mostly booked. A few of our big acts need a shorter window to confirm a date, but we'll be promoting those soon. We have a loyal following. And we also have a party on the lawn planned for July. Back when we transitioned from a farmer's market to block party, we started doing these multi-hour events in the late afternoon, early evening that was truly intergenerational for everyone, so that there were components to the parties that attract adults, attract families, attract kids, that everyone can come out on the library lawn and find something that's for them. So this year in July, we're doing a party specifically to celebrate the 250th of our country. So there'll be food and games and activities that will be related to the commemoration of the 250th.
Just another opportunity to be involved in community building. I've had the opportunity to come by on several occasions. It's wonderful to see intergenerational people gathering together to enjoy some live music, to enjoy each other's company. It's right on the lawn on Grove Ave at the Weaver, which is diagonally across from City Hall in East Providence. It's free, open to the public. Wonderful, wonderful opportunity to get together with people in the community. But there's a very prominent tree on that lawn that unfortunately has become victim to a copper beech disease or something like that. This beautiful, beautiful tree on the lawn is a beech tree. Can you talk about what's happening with that? Because I know we're looking to transform that.
Yeah, actually, this is an exciting time. Despite it being a sad event that we're saying goodbye to this majestic, huge tree that has been with us for 125 years. We're not exactly sure, but a long time. that has stood watch over the library and provided shade for all of those many programs that happen on the lawn. We are saying goodbye to it. If you go by the library lawn now, you can see that it is not it's not at its peak anymore, and it's time to say goodbye. The leaves are not coming back, and it's been had to have been pruned extensively for safety. So we're looking to transition the tree from what it was to something new. What my vision is an art piece that makes it a destination, makes the lawn a destination that is something that people would travel to come see and spend time looking at and thinking about and being curious about, and maybe asking questions and talking to neighbors and talking to friends and kind of just digesting, what happened to this tree? Why, how and why has it transformed into what it is now? And how does this new sculpture represent what the tree has stood for all these years? So the city put out a call for qualifications to multiple, to artists across the nation. And we whittled the list down, and we had 2 presentations on Monday from 2 artists who had made it into the design stage. So now the team of people who are looking at those concepts are deciding between the 2, and it's super exciting. Both are excellent proposals. I don't know yet which way we're going to go, but I can say that the next stage of this tree's life will be meaningful, will be special, will be different from what it once was, and that's a sad thing, but I think this new sculpture that will come out of it could be a place for the community to talk about, what does this mean to us now? What does this tree say, and how do we interpret it?
Also, like you pointed out earlier, art tends to draw people in, right? Good art, but this one has a unique story because you will be able to tell the story of how this stood watch for over 100 years, and now it's still being utilized by the community to enjoy the lawn, to enjoy the library, to enjoy some of the programming you have there. I'm eager to see it. I haven't seen the proposed designs yet. I'm eager to see it. Speaking of art, sometimes these things happen. We ended up getting a Thomas Dambo troll on our waterfront here in East Providence. And I am just amazed how people come from all over the world to come and check it out. And if we're going to take this tree and make it something unique, I hope that it's something that attracts people from outside to come and check out not only this, but then pop into the library and see all the great programming you have going on there.
Right. I saw the troll for the first time yesterday.
No.
Yes, I've been meaning to go for less than a year, but a long time. And but I really needed to see it to help kind of frame my thoughts about moving into the next stage and selecting the concept design for the library tree. So I went on a little field trip with our library assistant director, Pam Schwieger, and the library trustee, Betsy Ingraham. We went out to the troll, and really, it really is a unique and fun and cool piece on our waterfront. There was a gentleman there who has seen 10 trolls.
People travel.
So he had traveled to see it, and
so for those people at home watching, the troll is located behind University Orthopedics, off Fetch Memorial Parkway. There's a parking lot back there, and then there's an access to the East Bay Bike Path, and you can find the troll. It's really such a beautiful scenic area. And then there's a pier. There used to be, believe it or not, a pier to service oil tanks, right? They used to come and deliver oil. And so that pier has been rehabbed, and we use it as a place for people to go and enjoy a beautiful day on the water. They can go fishing, have a picnic or a lunch out there. We encourage people to come and visit. Look, my role as mayor is I like to see our businesses succeed, right? And I want to see our residents succeed. And that's through providing programming like the East Providence Public Library. We're building a community center now for our residents, which you've been very much a strong part of where we are with that project. And then creating art that draws people in, that makes them want to come visit our city. It's great. The gentleman you ran into has visited 10. That means he's traveling, right? we're hopeful that he stops in at one of the local businesses to support them while he's here. And that's what that whole project's about. But let's talk about another thing that you're working on. Recently, we appointed a commission to help celebrate the United States 250th birthday. And you are the chairperson. Can you share what's going on with that?
I can. I'm honored to chair the commission, and it was actually a perfect synthesis of the work I do through the libraries and the commemoration of the nation's semi-quincentennial, a new word that I learned just
I didn't even try to say
occasion.
it. I didn't even try to say it. That's why I said 250th birthday, because I knew I would mess that up.
Right. So it's really a moment in time for us to reflect on the history of our nation and learn about the activities and people and documents and concepts and ideals from 250 years ago. So, and I find it, not some kind of dry or history facts that don't pertain anymore. No, this is our present as well. If we can, and this is what the exciting work of the commission is doing, is making it relevant and interesting at a local level. If through the programming and activities of the commission, you can learn about the people, the places of East Providence that were active and had significance and relevance 250 years ago. If you're learning about those today, you're also learning about today, meaning, what choices were made and what actions occurred and what were the ideals then, how did that play out, how do we agree or disagree, how have we evolved from there. There's just, in terms of opportunities for lifelong learning, looking back at history is never a waste of time. It is always fascinating, and I just love that East Providence contains so much history as well. Our ancient cemeteries, our properties, the people buried in the cemeteries. There's so much to learn.
I think that's the part that people could be fascinated by if they didn't know, because a lot of the programming you're putting together will be educational, right? People are going to be learning about East Providence, and I've learned quite a bit in my role as mayor. I mean, I've learned so much. East Providence was central to the founding of this great nation. It was central to the founding of even Rhode Island. The history of East Providence itself is so fascinating that East Providence, for those people who don't know, has belonged to 2 different states and has had 3 different names. Originally, it was part of Plymouth Colony, which was Massachusetts, and was called Rehoboth. So where we call East Providence today was called Rehoboth. And then when Rehoboth became its own town, current day East Providence became Seekonk, Mass. And then in 1862, I think it was. Let me see. It's on the.
1862.
1862. That's right. In 1860, I had the date right. In 1862. Rhode Island took Massachusetts all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, and a decision was made that East Providence was actually part of Rhode Island, and other parts of Rhode Island that was part of Massachusetts at the time became part. So East Providence has been in Massachusetts, currently in Rhode Island, has been known as Rehoboth, has been known as Seekonk, is now known as East Providence, and Roger Williams. We have Roger Williams Avenue that goes through East Providence. Roger Williams, the founder of Rhode Island, originally settled here in East Providence, which is fascinating. I mean, temporarily until he was booted out. But so we got a lot to talk about. Let's talk about for the next 5 minutes. I think we have 5 minutes to go. Let's talk about some of the things you have planned.
Sure. So where to begin? I'll start with what I already referred to. So we have a bus tour / driving tour. We'll have 6 bus tours over the summer and the fall. But we did create pamphlets. So if you are unable to get a seat on one of the bus tours, you can do your own car driving tour. And this tour will take you around the city, visiting the significant locations, homes and cemeteries that were relevant during the Revolutionary War period. So you can learn about the locations. And then also at our Newman Cemetery and Little Neck Cemetery, there will be markers on the graves of the Revolutionary War soldiers that are buried here in East Providence, and a QR code will take you to their biographies. So those are just two events, but in terms of what we're learning about.
Before we go, share with everybody the website, because I know you created a website, right? So share that website so people can go look it up right now.
EP250.com.
EP250, that's easy.
That's easy.
EP250.com.
Right.
We'll put it on the bottom of the screen. I think Matt Paddock, my communications guy, knows how to play around with that. So he's going to put EP250.com right at the bottom.
Right. Visit that website because you'll find information about the activities that will be happening, about the commission, who we are, what our mission is. And also, we'll be building the website as we go with the biographies and information about the historical homes in the
I see you've got the book that was done when we celebrated 200 years, right?
I know. I do have
Show
it.
Show that to the public. So this book is fascinating. I read that book when I first got elected. I read that book cover to cover. It's a fast read. Fascinating history on East Providence, and you're looking to update that. Talk about that.
I would love to update this book, and we have made some progress. So I hope that I can see that through fruition. This book was published back at the 200th. That's right. Anniversary. So speaking of kind of like linking yourself to the history and learning about current times through the lens of previous times, I saw this as one of the projects that commission took up. And wouldn't it be cool if we could update it with some corrected information? We have new research on some things that need correction, and then also the past 50 years would be cool for people to read about.
Absolutely marvelous.
Yeah.
I'm being told we have about less than 2 minutes to go.
Okay.
Are there any key things you wanted to share with the community before we wrap up? Any things that maybe we missed out on? Because this has been a great, by the way, half-an-hour conversation. It's going so smooth, and you've shared so much great information to the community. We hope that the community takes advantage of the library, takes advantage of the website, EP250.com, and engages in all of the great celebrations we have going on.
Right.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I would
Liberty Tree?
Yes, we have our Liberty Tree event coming up this weekend, which is very exciting. Secretary Greg Amore will be there. He, a former civics teacher at the East Providence High School. I guess in my last minute, I would say that the public library is one of the pillars of democracy. Right? So if we are all going to fulfill our civic responsibilities, we need to be informed. And so by being informed, we need to be curious and we need to be lifelong learners. So come to the library, use our resources. Don't come to the library, use our resources from home.
Online.
We have ebooks, audiobooks, and online resources.
Well,
to
I
be
will
an informed
say,
citizen.
Meredith, you've been so informative, and the community has spent half an hour with our library director learning about some of the great programs going on. Now, here at the Pulse of East Providence with Mayor Bob DaSilva, we aim to bring you all of the things that are happening across the city that makes East Providence a great place in which to live, learn, work, and play. If you know someone that should be highlighted on this show, don't forget to reach out to Mayor's office at eastprovinceri.gov, and we'll sit down with you and share your story with the community. Stay well, stay safe. We'll see you out there.